to get into it because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. It's literally one of those things that's absolutely free. It's absolutely free. It is crazy because it's something that is misunderstood. And one of the things I think that we learned a little bit during these crazy last few years about our immune system is there's certain things that we really, really need to get plenty of, like vitamin D, D3K2, for example. And this was something that was even recognized back in the early days of COVID. I'm so grateful for that. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about so many other actionable tips that are simple, that are free, they are powerful because one of the things that I think a lot of people don't even think about is our immune system is not just for fighting off things like COVID, SARS-CoV-2, or whatever flu virus is out there. We're coming into, the proverbial flu season, right? It's much more than that. It's actually your body's frontline anti-inflammatory, anti-aging system, and it's an anti-cancer defense network. Like literally, our immune system does all those things. And when it's balanced and supercharged, like we're going to talk about today, how you can do that, you not only can feel energized, but focused and be resilient. But when it's not working well, when it's overworked, or if it's undernourished, you can get fatigued, tired, brain fog, joint pain, allergies, maybe even weight gain. You can have poor sleep, and you can have that not so awesome thing that many people are starting to call inflammaging or accelerated premature aging due to inflammation, because that is when the immune system is not operating up to par, up to speed, up to its amazing, amazing potential because it is there for you. It wants to function at its highest level. It wants to serve you, but you got to work together in cahoots, synchronize and synergistically so that it can function at its best. So today I'm going to distill it down into 7 top tips, 7 simple, free, and available strategies that can make your immune system bulletproof, literally to use it so well. So not only do you not get common colds, but so that you can fend off these other conditions that are happening, that the conditions of inflammation. Inflammation is literally at the root cause of nearly everything from heart disease to cancer to just about all the neurodegenerative illnesses like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, even cancer. All of these things are basically because of inflammation. And when we can get our immune system working well, we can fight that inflammation, we can supercharge it, we can have it recognize those early cancerous cells that are literally in all of our bodies all of the time, and it will fend them off. It will wipe them out with, there's this cool cell called the natural killer cell. We're going to talk about that. So we're going to get into this. I'm going to share with you these top 7 strategies that I use each and every day and that I teach my clients so that they can also supercharge their immune system. The first is one of my favorites. The first of these powerful levers to supercharge your immune system is none other than my favorite thing, which nowadays is sleep. You cannot wait to sleep when you're dead. No, you cannot wait. In fact, your nighttime immune reset can occur each and every day through high quality sleep. And there's one thing that I've been able to appreciate more and more, especially as I age, is the value, the potency, and the simplicity of a beautiful night's sleep. There was a recent study in the European Journal of Physiology just back in 2024. It showed that even one night of less than 6 hours of sleep can suppress your immune system, especially in the form of those NK cells, the natural killer cells that are literally always kind of roaming around, looking for badness, looking for viruses, looking for bacteria, looking for these early cancer cells. They go out and they have at it. They can rid your body of these things. But if you're not sleeping, literally one night of less than 6 hours, that activity from those specialty cells, the natural killer cells, the NK cells, can go down by as much as 70%. So think about it. Your internal SWAT team, the NK cells, they are there for you. And if you're not getting quality sleep, they can't help you. They literally fend off the viruses, the bacteria, they're cancer surveillance cells. They're so important. So don't shortchange yourself. As this amazing dude by the name of Dr. Matthew Walker out of Stanford loves to say, that when you sleep deeply, that's literally when your immune system gets programmed. It gets the ability, the newest updates. It's kind of like even your phones, right? They at night they update if you have them plugged in, hopefully somewhere outside of your bedroom and into the Wi-Fi outside of your bedroom because you don't need your phone in your bedroom at night. Like, come on, you don't need it at night. And when you do that, it'll be better for you, better for your body, and you'll sleep better. And that high quality sleep will allow your immune system to get up to speed so that it can do the things that it wants to do. And also, you know about that specialty system called the glymphatic system that flushes out all the toxins, it clears out the inflammation, all the junk that builds up throughout the day. Your body actually builds antibodies during the night. Like these things that your body can do during a good night's sleep to supercharge your immune system are indispensable. And so, simple way to do this. Every night, try to be on a schedule. Try to go to bed approximately the same time every single night, even weekends, so your body gets into the groove. Your body loves rhythm. Your body loves a schedule. It's not just your toddler or your young kids that need a routine. You need a routine. And it's been shown to be highly effective for getting a good quality night's sleep. And try to aim for between 7 and 9 hours. My sweet spot lately is about 7.5 hours. I've been monitoring it with one of those smart watches, if you will. It tells me how many minutes or hours of deep sleep and REM sleep and regular sleep and how much I was awake, hopefully not very much, but it varies. And I can get all of those measurements with a simple smartwatch. And it's been pretty insightful. So if you've never done that, kind of fun to do, but aim for somewhere between 7 and 9 hours in a cool, dark, quiet place. And this may have to be accomplished with eye covers, the little eye shades that I used to make fun of and now I wear because they are amazing. I mean, try to get the room as dark as possible. It's a lot easier with eye shades, especially if you're traveling. There's so many extraneous lights, whether they be from smoke detectors, alarms, alarm clocks, the room phone, whatever it is. And like, I just shut all that out. I used to bring duct tape and put tape over all these things. I'm like, screw that, just wear an eye mask. It's so simple. There's really comfortable ones you can get for not that much money, and it's a game changer. So cool, dark, and quiet. So you may have to wear earplugs if you live like where I used to live years ago in San Diego. I was literally under the flight plan of the aircrafts. And so it was loud at night. There was also a freeway. I would live close to the 405 freeway. So putting in little, I mean, it sounds so crazy. It's silly. Like these things are pennies on the dollar, right? Earplugs, like so simple. Put those in at night and it is golden. So cool, dark, quiet, so important. And make sure you sunset your screens, right? This is something that has been so powerful in my life. And I'm going to be honest, like, the influencers out there, the specialists, these guys, they'll say, oh, turn off your screens 2 hours before bed. I bet you they don't do that. Like, that's really, really hard. So shoot for 1 hour before bed. That's something we can all do. I can do that. You can do that. It's so possible. Put your phone away, your tablet. Use that last hour before bed to chill. Maybe read a book by my favorite. It's a red light headlamp, or if you can do candlelight or dim light, that's not that super bright LED stuff. Like I got rid of all the LEDs and I put everything else that I couldn't get rid of on a dimmer. I mean, so cool at night to have everything kind of dim and warm and cool and the little red lights. Like that's what your body wants. That's what your body craves. So have that at least 1 hour before bedtime, no screens, and make sure you're not eating within 3 to 4 hours of bedtime. That's been a huge game changer for me as well. We've been pushing our dinner earlier on. We try to eat between 5 and 6 o'clock, no matter what time it is. This time of year, it's fall, winter, wherever you are in the world. Maybe it's spring, summer. But right now, at least in the Western Hemisphere where I live, the US of A, Canada, wherever, it's nice because it's getting dark around 5:30 at night. So it's when it's dark outside, everybody's indoors. We're not out there tooling around in the dark, so we can eat dinner early, about 5:30. And then I can have a good solid 4 hours before bedtime where I'm not eating food because digestion is taxing. It requires a lot of energy. It'll keep you awake. It'll keep your body temperature up. All the things that make sleep not occur amazingly well is if you're eating close to bedtime. So try to be at least 3 hours after your last meal, even closer to 4, even better. This time of year, it's a little bit easier. Try to keep alcohol to a minimum. Don't drink every single night. I know a lot of folks like to have a glass of wine every night, maybe just on the weekends or something, or really try to limit that because alcohol is a big time disruptor of your sleep. Not awesome. And It's also a toxin. So if you must, and if you enjoy that, that's cool, but maybe just reserve it for the weekends. Try to cut that a little bit. Your sleep will be better. I promise you. It'll also be better for your REM sleep, your deep sleep. And also, alcohol in and of itself can elevate your cortisol, which is not awesome for sleep. Another thing I've been working on lately is incorporating what I call stress relieving snacks. A little meditation. I just call them mindfulness snacks. So it's kind of like during the day, I always share about every hour you should move your body for a couple of minutes, put on your favorite dance song or whatever it is, and move, do some push ups, pull ups, sit ups, air squats, drop down and do some burpees or plank. Like do that every hour for 3 to 5 minutes, just one of your favorite songs. Also, I'm trying to, in addition, not just get my movement in, but get my mindfulness in because I usually don't schedule a big, long 30, 60, 90-minute meditative time in my day. But what I do is I do a couple times during the day, I do a little meditation or mindfulness snack where I literally go, often it's in the bathroom, put the toilet seat down, sit there, close my eyes, put my hand over my heart, just breathe for a couple of minutes. Box breath. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4 out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. You go around the horn, so to speak. Every breath, is about 15 seconds, 16 seconds. And so you do 4 to 5 breaths per minute. You do that for 2 to 3 minutes, and it's a game changer. So I do that a couple times throughout the day. I usually start my morning with a little bit of a meditative mindfulness session, gratitude session. And then I do a couple of these smaller ones throughout the day. And so I never have to block out 90 minutes of meditation. And if you're doing that, like kudos, like props to you. I haven't figured out how to incorporate that into my life yet, but I do these little meditative or what I call mindfulness snacks. And to do a couple of those, maybe 5 to 10 to 15 minutes prior to bed, so amazing, so amazing for your sleep. It literally gets that vagus nerve to get going and get chilling, getting your body grooving, decrease that heart rate so you can kind of be chilling. It's super, super helpful. And it's not hard. Like you got a whole hour, right? That last hour before bed, you're not looking at a screen, you're not messing with emails, phone, none of that. So do some gratitude, do some meditation, do some chill time, maybe close your eyes, listen to some calming music, whatever that is for you. And I promise you, it's going to be a game changer. I know it has for me. I'll share with you just briefly about a client I had recently. We'll just call her Sarah, 47 years young. She was having some trouble with this. She was waking up a couple of times a night. She had a partner who was snoring, so that didn't help. And when she came in, we do what we always do. We take a look under the hood. And if you haven't taken a look under the hood, you got to get that done. If you need help with that, get some labs done, a full functional panel, which most providers out there are not doing. I can help you with that. Reach out to me, Dr. Thomas Hemingway, Instagram, ThomasHemingway.com, Thomas Hemingway, MD, Facebook. I'd love to help you. But when we checked her labs, not surprisingly, her CRP was elevated. And she was catching like every seasonal cold. She had a few kids that were still school aged, and every time they would bring something home, she would catch it as well. And she was not stoked on that. It was not fun for her this whole time frame between September and almost March, April. She was getting plenty of these common colds. And I really feel like a lot of it was she wasn't sleeping well. And it showed she was having increased inflammation. Like I said, her highly sensitive CRP was elevated. Her fasting insulin was also elevated. She wasn't metabolically super healthy. But what we did was we focused on what we call the 30-day sleep reset. We made sure she got either blackout curtains. In her case, she didn't want to get rid of her curtains, so she bought an eye mask, and it was golden. It worked killer. We also got her a couple of these little headlamps that have red lights so that she could use that at night to journal or do something a little bit more chill in the evening, that last hour before bed. We also added a couple of my favorite supplements, Mighty Magnesium, one of my favorites, magnesium, either glycinate. In her case, I added magnesium threonate, which is my favorite because it does cross the blood-brain barrier. She was taking about a gram a night. We also got her on some glycine at night as well. And we made it a point to make sure she did at least a 3-2-1 ritual. So 3 hours before bed, no food. 2 hours before bed, no significant excessive physical activity. A light walk is fine. 1 hour before bed, sunsetting those screens like we talked about. She was using both the eye shades, the earplugs, because her partner was snoring, and that was just the most inexpensive way to deal with that. And she went from sleeping 5 to 6, maybe 6.5 hours a night to 7.5 to 8 hours per night. And we monitored it with one of these smartwatches. And it was not only amazing to see the change in the numbers, the data, but oh my gosh, she was like, I feel like a totally different human. And by week 6, we rechecked some of her labs. Her CRP had gone way down. Her fasting insulin had gone down. She was sleeping deeper. She was not getting sick. Like her energy was through the roof. So many important things. And why? Because sleep is paramount. It's so important. It's so simple. It's so powerful. Your immune system literally gets supercharged at night. It programs those cells so they can recognize the newest of all the pathogens that are out there, right? It makes antibodies at night. It flushes out all the toxins through the lymphatic system and the lymphatic system. And so, with this simple hack of focusing on her sleep, it literally changed her life. So, make sure you're getting adequate sleep. That is the first tool, and master it. And I promise it will supercharge you and your immune system. All right, number two. Number two, we talked a little bit about this already. Two is optimize your stress. Master that stress before it masters you. Because right now in our present day society, there's way too much stress going on. There's literally folks having this stressed out, burned out, hypoadrenal, or they call it adrenal fatigue. I don't care. You call it whatever you want to call it, but literally it's rampant right now in society. People are tired as heck, but they are wired at night. They can't get to sleep. They're just feeling kind of a little bit edgy all the time. They can't focus, and a lot of this because of the stress that they're going through. And this axis that deals with stress, we call it the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus, the pituitary, adrenal axis. And these all communicate in a loop, and it's directly tied to your immune system. And we know that chronic stress keeps your cortisol elevated until it can't be elevated, right? Until you're burning it out. And it literally, that cortisol issue will shrink your main immune gland. That's called the thymus gland. It literally is the gland that makes your T cells, and it will shrink into oblivion if your stress is through the roof. There's actually a 2023 study that looked at this, and it was a cool study because it was a meta-analysis, which is a combination of all the previous studies on this topic. It's in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology, and it showed that chronic stress, the type that I'm talking about right now, literally can double the risk of viral infections and autoimmune flare-ups, whether that be leaky gut type of stuff, whether it be a gut condition, bowel disease condition, immune flare with asthma or things like that. It can double the risk of a flare-up, and it can double your risk of getting the common cold if you're having this ongoing chronic stress. So here's the thing. I'm going to make it super simple. One of the ways quickly you can de-stress and get your body synced up to good solid energy is just get out every morning within the first, I would say, 15, 20 minutes of being awake. Try to get up and outside during the early morning light, during the sunrise hours. Like try to get out there 10 minutes if you can, 15, maybe even better if you can take a little walk around your block, around your neighborhood. Get that morning light. Don't wear sunglasses. It helps actually set your clock. If you're out there in the morning light, it sets that circadian rhythm. And it also will lower, interestingly enough, there's data to show this, it will lower your cortisol. So cool. The second thing is practice what I shared about in the first tip, this sort of micro dosing of relaxation, which I like to call the meditative or the mindfulness snacks. Literally 5 minutes at a time, do slow, deep breathing through the nose, out the mouth, box breathing, whatever technique works for you. You can do the Wim Hof style, whatever, I don't care, but just choose something that works for you that you can remember, that you can do throughout the day, maybe every couple of hours. Try to do it 3, 4 times a day, just 5 minutes at a time. Super simple, super easy, and it will lower your stress. It'll actually improve your energy, decrease your anxiety. It's golden. I've been working on this. I do the movement snacks all the stinking time. I'm moving like all day long. And now I'm incorporating these mindfulness snacks. And for me, it's been a game changer. It helps with my focus. It helps just kind of chill me out. Just a quick couple of minutes of closed eye, hand on heart. Usually it's just in the bathroom, sitting on the thing with the seat down so I can just be by myself, quiet, and it's been golden. I love it. I love, love, love it. I also love to do it right before bed. It's so helpful, so meaningful, and it's so, so simple. There's a couple other things you can add supplement-wise too, like adaptogens. Ashwagandha is a great one for this. It helps kind of boost your immune system and decrease stress. 500 milligrams is a pretty common dose. Rhodiola is also a great one. About 200 milligrams is a common dose. Tulsi as well can help. All of these can help restore your HPA axis, that hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal kind of stress axis. And another thing I found as we're starting our day off with the morning light, Also, we should start our day, our mornings, and every meal with protein because when you do protein first, you're going to avoid those blood sugar dips that can often happen if you're having too many carbs in your diet. And those blood sugar dips can also boost your cortisol, which is not awesome. So make sure you're incorporating these things. They're simple, they're easy. I'm going to just share with you a guy that I worked with previously. We'll just call him Mike. He's a 52-year-old pharmaceutical exec, and he came in with uh, really bad chronic stress. I mean, he was not sleeping well. He was always kind of edgy. His cortisol was up. He was getting basically every common cold that would come through. He had a couple of teenagers, and every time they would get sick, he would get sick. And so, what we did with him over about a 6 week period was we made sure he got out in the morning light. So, he got his day started right outside in the light. We did a couple of these meditative or mindfulness snacks throughout the day. We put him on a couple of these adaptogens. In his case, we did ashwagandha and rhodiola, and they helped him so much. And it was verifiable not only by the data, he wore one of these smart watches, his heart rate variability increased significantly, his heart rate before sleep. A lot of people are kind of measuring this nowadays. The Brian Johnsons of the world made this popular. It's basically you take your heart rate when you're chilling in bed, closing your eyes, about to be ready to go to sleep. You see what your heart rate is. And the lower that is, usually like it around 50 or so, if you're Brian Johnson or elite athlete or these other guys that are really, really aiming towards this, you'll get it maybe in the 40s. But I would say anywhere around 50s or so is amazing and just restful. You got your parasympathetic tone boosted up, and this will really help you have the best sleep of your life. So we did this with him. We got the light exposure in the morning. We did the meditative or the mindfulness snacks. We did the adaptogens I mentioned, which was both ashwagandha in his case and rhodiola. And his HRV was so much better than before once he got on this. He didn't feel all stressed out. He wasn't getting sick anymore. Like literally, it was a game changer. And it was so, so simple. So don't underestimate the power of these mindfulness snacks, the optimization of your stress, because we all live with plenty of stress. And Mike, in this case, he really focused on how he could optimize that stress through those measures we just talked about. And it was a total game changer. Because remember, at the end of the day, the immune system is not just about germs, right? It's about also your internal environment. And having increased levels of stress can disrupt those frontline defenses. So keep it simple. Don't forget meditative snacks, mindfulness snacks, and the morning light and these adaptogens I talked about can be a game changer. All right, let's get to number three, my favorite. And I literally wrote half of a book on this. If you got my book, Preventable, Five Powerful Practices to Avoid Disease and Build Unshakable Health, like the back half of this book is all about your gut. You gotta feed your gut. You gotta improve your gut health because literally like 70% of your immunity lives in your gut. So you gotta feed your gut. Prebiotics, probiotics, all the healthy whole foods, the luscious greens and bright, vibrant veggies and fruits. Like you gotta feed your gut. Remember nowadays that we have a little bit of an understanding. I mean, when I went to med school, nobody even heard of gut health or would have just thought you were a kooky. Like, what the heck is gut health? Now we have lots and lots of data showing that having a healthy gut microbiota literally trains your immune system because up to 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. And it can train them to be not only smart and discerning, but also to not be overreactive. Here's how to do it. Try to eat lots of different foods throughout the week, especially plants, like lots of veggies, lots of fruits. If you can eat like 5 to 6 a day, 5 to 6 different types of plants, whether they be veggies or fruit, like each and every day, like that's going to be amazing. Go to the farmer's market, maybe just start this week and pick out one new plant or fruit, veggie or fruit, and just literally add it to your weekly regimen. Just pick one a week. Like don't do 5 new ones every day. That's a lot, but you can do one a week. I'm sure you can do that. And basically, the more diversity you eat, the more diversity in your diet, especially real whole foods, fruits and vegetables, literally the more diverse will be your microbiota. And the more diverse your microbiota, the more healthy it is. And that's been shown. You guys might have heard of this thing they did a little while back called the American Gut Project. And they found that, if you could do three, or they actually looked at over the week time and they said about 30 different plant varieties, fresh veggies and fruits over the course of a week, 30 different ones. That's like 5 different plants a day. It's kind of a lot. that was the strongest predictor of your microbial diversity. So I would say just add a new a new veggie or fruit every single week. Okay, whole food, new one every week. Also consider adding some fermented foods like sauerkraut, kefir, kimchi. That's been shown to increase your immune health. Also, increase those T cells, which are super potent to fight off infection. There was a journal article in Cell just a couple of years ago that talked about this. So don't underestimate the power of fermented foods, and there's so many to pick from. Also, as I shared at the outset, prebiotics, so important, the resistant starches, whether they be green bananas. I like Brussels sprouts, asparagus that has a lot of starch in there, resistant starches. Or if you like things like rice, cook it and then cool it and then reheat it. And so the leftovers are even more healthy for you because they become what they call a resistant starch. Also, throw in some good, solid, colorful things, the polyphenols, if you will, the berries, green tea, cacao. These colorful fruits and veggies are so powerful in the immune system. They're super helpful. They're antioxidant. They can boost your immune health. So important. And also, I would recommend, if you've not done it before, having some gut health probiotic that you trust, whether they be, there's all different types out there. I take a certain type. I've added several additional types. I have a couple that I love. These include things like lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, all kinds of different ones. Bifidobacterium longum is one of my favorites. There's all of these, Akkermansia is amazing, right? All of these that really help to keep that gut barrier solid so you don't have leaky gut. Another thing you can add is glutamine. Like 5 grams of glutamine is super helpful. I've been doing that for, geez, a long, long time. So a lot of helpful tips there. If you have no idea where you're at, this is something you could get tested. There's a lot of different gut health testing that can be done if you feel like your gut is maybe having some issues. I would say take a look under the hood, get a look at it, because you can't just guess this stuff. Don't guess, just simply test. So what's the takeaway here? A balanced gut equals balanced immunity. So simple action this week: add a new fruit or veggie each and every week. Maybe add a new fermented food, kefir, sauerkraut, or my favorite, kimchi. Make sure you're also adding polyphenol rich foods, right? The bright, colorful ones. Also consider things like glutamine to support your gut health. I'm going to share with you just real briefly a client. We'll just call her Linda. She was 39, had oh my gosh, literally sinus infections all year round. It was crazy. She had a little bit of just a mix of constipation, loose stool, just not doing great from a gut health perspective. She had a history of SIBO, which is a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So we did a diverse plan of microbiome support. We increased her plant intake, right? We added some fermented foods. We didn't do it 7 days a week. We did 5 days just to give her a little bit of a break. We added a low dose lactobacillus and bifidobacterium to her diet, some gut repair nutrients, which I don't have time to get into all of her protocol, but over the next 2 months, she literally had no URIs, that's upper respiratory infections, no sinus infections. She didn't feel bloated anymore. Her energy improved and she got her mind back. She said, I'm clear now. I don't feel so foggy all the time. So here's the thing: 70% or more of your immune system lives in your gut. You got to get your gut working for you, because synergistically, it is literally your best companion, your best partner at your immune health, because that's where most of it is anyway. So you can't ignore the gut when we're talking immunity. It's literally the training ground for your immune system. So there you go. Gut health is paramount. All right. We're going to get to my favorite. Well, I said gut. Well, they're all my favorite. I love all these things, but the next one is so cool because you wouldn't naturally think of it as an immune building technique, but it is. And I'll share with you why. This is building your muscle. Muscle is literally not only the metabolic sink, as it's been called, or the organ of longevity, it's been called, but it's also an immune organ. Literally, as you build muscle, you are building your immune system. Why? Well, these things, they're specialty messengers, if you will, that get released when you work out. They're called myokines, and they actually support the immune system in several ways. They're anti-inflammatory, for one. They've been shown to help with things like interleukin 6, for example. And these anti-inflammatory myokines, these signaling molecules that your muscles release, have been shown to jack up not only your muscle tissue, but your immune function. In fact, there's a 2024 study just recently in the Journal of American Medical Association that showed that as you increase your lean muscle mass, even by as little as 5%, you will significantly lower your all-cause mortality, especially that from infections and cancer, by building muscle. So here's how we can do it. If you're not doing any good old-fashioned weight training, resistance training, just pumping iron, if you will, at least 2 days a week, you got to get started. Try to do at least 2 days a week. I shoot for 3 or 4 days a week. Anything that's building muscle. You can do it with body weight. You can do it at the gym. You can carry heavy things. You can do a bunch of squats, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, planks, burpees, air squats, whatever it is. Go to the gym, use the machines. That's my favorite because you can work every muscle pretty safely. Work on what we call progressive overload. So in other words, don't always do the same thing. You got to put a little bit heavier weight on. Go to where you just can't do anymore and then try to push one or two more. Like Ed Milet wrote that book, One More, the power of one more. Try to do one more when you're feeling exhausted. And this is a great place when you're at the gym and you're on a machine because it's a lot harder to hurt yourself on the machine. It's not like you're going to drop your dumbbells on your chest like I almost did the other day when I probably picked the wrong kid, but I had one of my kids out there. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do these 75s, and that's 75 in each hand. They're dumbbells, and they're a little bit, a little bit awkward, shaky, and that's a little heavy for me. But I usually can do, somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 10. And I was on like my third set, and I called my kid out to help me. Well, the good thing is nobody got hurt. The weights didn't get dropped. Nobody smashed their toe. It's all good. But it was a little bit comical. But anyway, lift weights at least 2 to 3 days a week. Work on progressive overload. Make sure you prioritize your protein. So important. The power of protein. You got to start your day with protein. 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. That's what I shoot for. So it's about 150, 160 grams of protein for me each and every day. I would consider also creatine. Creatine is amazing for muscle health, also for brain health. Also, it was shown in Nature Metabolism 2023 that it improves your immune resilience. Who would have known, right? The same creatine we've been using for decades. It's not just for muscle, it's for the brain and also for immune health. Remember, as you build muscle, you're also building your mitochondrial and your immune reserve. So important. So I'm going to share with you a client of mine. We'll just call him Tom. He was 56 and he had lost a bit of muscle. He was just not working out. He said he was too busy. He was getting the common cold like just several times every winter. He was reporting low strength. And so what we did, we got him to 2 days a week, total body, workout, 2 days a week. And we added creatine to his diet. We were doing about 5 grams. We also increased his protein because that was one of the reasons he lost muscle mass because he wasn't eating very much protein. We increased his protein to 1 gram per lean body mass. So he was getting about 160, 170 grams a day. And we had to do that over 3 square meals, starting with protein. And we also threw in an extra protein shake. But within 12 weeks' time, his lean mass had improved by over 3 pounds. It was like almost 4 pounds, 1.8 kilos, about 4 pounds of lean body mass. It was amazing. Like literally, he didn't think that he could grow muscle anymore. I'm like, dude, you got this. You can do this. We know how to do this. And he did it. And not only did he stop getting these silly sinus infections and the common cold, but he reported that he would feel so much better after his workouts, and that if one of the family members at his house got sick, he wasn't getting sick anymore. So remember, when you are paying attention to this key critical system, your muscular system, not only will you feel better, have more energy, you also improve your immune health and decrease your chances of dying of things like cancer and infections. Like, it's crazy. Your immune system is smart and it needs to have good muscle mass. So important, so critical, so helpful. So do it and let me know how it went. All right, we're almost to the end. We got this part here. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things, because when you balance your blood sugar, you're also decreasing your inflammation and you're improving your immune system. Here's how it goes, because when you have this sort of seesaw blood sugar, you eat, your blood sugar spikes, then it goes down, up and down, and up and down. Not only do you feel like crap, but it's also causing inflammation in your body. Remember, I had a previous client that I shared with you, her highly sensitive CRP was up. And with that, she also had an elevated fasting insulin. So not only was her inflammation up, but her metabolic system, she was having dysfunction, which is very common. Almost 90% of folks in the US of A have some metabolic dysregulation. So it is common, but don't let that be you. And if it is, don't worry. We can easily work on that. You're not broken. your just metabolism may need a little bit of help, and we can easily fix that. So here's the thing. When you spike and drop like these seesaw blood sugars, these swings literally suppress your immune system. It's been shown, and it also causes elevated cortisol, which also suppresses your immune system because high glucose literally can paralyze your super specialty white blood cells, those cells that fight infection. It literally paralyzes them for hours. This is why you probably heard of this. Diabetics often have a higher risk of infection because their immune cells don't work well. And so there was even a study from Stanford not long ago, 2023, that showed that when you have these glucose spikes, like from maybe your morning croissant or your morning, thing that you got to go with your Starbucks very super highly califragilistic, super expialidocious, jacked with sugar, right? Those specialty coffee drinks that are like 1,000 calories at Starbucks. That literally has been shown to decrease your immune function, and it sends your system into inflammation. Like literally, it decreases the T cell effectiveness and responsiveness. So you can fix this super easy, right? Don't eat all that sugar, right? Try to avoid the big three, the highly processed sugars, the highly processed grains and flours, the highly processed seed oils, and start your meal with protein and fiber in that order. Protein, fiber, and then some healthy fats. And after every meal, make it simple. Do a 10-minute walk. Two of your favorite songs, go around the block, go around your office building, up and down the stairs of the office, whatever it is. Take 10 minutes after every meal. Don't go on your phone. Don't check your email. Don't watch your favorite Netflix series. Just get outside and move your body for 10 minutes. Another thing you can do is you can do a little bit of apple cider vinegar before your meal, like a tablespoon, right? Just gulp it down. Don't drink it with a straw. You can stain your teeth, but gulp it down. This has been shown to lower glucose spikes by as much as 20 to 30%. If you've never done this, consider doing a CGM. I often have my clients do that if they've never done it because it's so informative. It's so informative. Try to keep your postprandial or after meal glucose less than 120. And you will learn things like I did that I shouldn't be eating certain things, like oatmeal was spiking my sugar over 120. So was pineapple, and I'm from Hawaii and I love pineapple. So I just don't eat much of it. I might have a bite or two, and that's it. I don't go crazy with it. Remember that if you have a stable blood sugar, you also have a stable immune system. So, so important, so simple, so easy to do. I'm going to share with you quickly about a client. We'll just call her Rebecca, 45 years young. She was having elevated glucoses after a meal, about 140 after her dinner. She also had a kind of borderline fasting blood sugar, was like 106, and she was getting UTIs, urinary tract infections, pretty often. And so what did we do? We had her do just a couple of things. We had her eat her last meal earlier in the evening. She was done by 6. She used to be done by like 8 or 8:30. We're like, no, let's shift it. Just shift it forward. Eat dinner by 6. We also started her meals with fiber, which is veggies, and with protein. We started it with veggies and protein. We limited her carbs, and if we did, we put them at the end of the meal. And every meal, she committed to walking 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. Like after just 2 months, her glucose has dropped to less than 100 after meals. That was down from almost 140. She basically didn't get any UTIs. She was having like one a month. And then in the next period of time, I think in the follow-up for a year, she had one in a whole year, and she was getting almost one every single month. So remember, your immune system will benefit from keeping the blood sugar stable. If your blood sugar is stable, so is your immune system. So make sure you're avoiding those highly processed foods, the grains, the flours, the sugars, the seed oils. You're starting your meal with fiber and protein. You're getting your movement in after a meal. And literally, this can be a game changer for you as it was for Rebecca. All right, closing this out, we're going to talk about how you can boost your immune system by boosting your energy, your micronutrients, and your mitochondria. The M is the M&M, mitochondria and your micronutrients. And this is kind of one of my favorite things because this is literally where my profession of functional and integrative medicine like jumps off the charts. Like it shines. We don't just look at normal stuff, we look at optimal. And one of the things we look at is your mitochondrial capability, like what your energy is like and how can you get that energy up through the micronutrients. So let's just talk about a couple of my favorites. I actually mentioned one of them already, the D3K2. Vitamin D is paramount for your immune system. I started this whole thing talking about vitamin D and how we learned during the COVID times that is actually really important. And if you can't get your levels above 50, I can help you. You gotta first take a look under the hood, get your labs checked, And you got to shoot for somewhere between, I would say, 60 and 90, ideally around 70 or so. And to do that, you might have to supplement because maybe there's just not enough sunlight available, especially this time of year, right? It's okay. I supplement. I live in Hawaii half the year. I'm in other places, Utah, Florida, but I still can't always get my vitamin D up without supplementation. It's okay. It's not a weakness. Sometimes you have to supplement. It's all good. But the Lancet premier journal, the Lancet Medical Journal in 2023 showed that vitamin D not only can activate your immune system, but it activates over 200 different genes in simply immune cells alone. Like so important, so critical, so crucial. Don't underestimate the power of vitamin D. And I shoot for D3K2. Great combination. You might need 5,000 units. You might need 10,000 if you're really low, but you got to check. You got to monitor this every couple of months until you get it in a nice, sweet, steady state, hopefully around 60 to 70, maybe even between 60 and 90. But you got to check under the hood. My second favorite vitamin for immune health, not surprisingly, vitamin C. And even better is a liposomal vitamin C because it gets absorbed, it gets activated. It's essential for your neutrophil function. Those are white blood cells. It's essential for what they call antioxidant recycling. I would say somewhere between 500 and 1,000 milligrams twice a day is a good place to start. During this season, the so-called flu season, I'm taking it morning and night, 1,000 milligrams twice a day. So critical, so crucial, so simple, and so affordable. Vitamin C. Liposomal, even better. My next favorite micronutrient is zinc. The power of zinc. Not only can it help testosterone in a dude or help with your mitochondria, but it also is helpful with immune health. So 15 to 30 milligrams per day. You got to take a look under the hood, see what your levels are, because most people are zinc deficient. Most people are magnesium deficient, which is my favorite mineral. And it's required for over 600 enzymatic reactions in the body, including T cell activation. Those are specialty immune cells that go off and fight the cells that are causing havoc, right? T cells are so critical, so crucial, and magnesium helps them get activated. So a lot of people will need this. You got to take a look under the hood. You got to get your levels checked. But I find that between 60 and 80% of all Americans are deficient functionally in magnesium. And it's so simple. My favorites are magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate. You can ask me about specifics about that. Feel free to message me. I'd love to share what I take. I love magnesium. It's my favorite mineral. I've done probably several podcasts just on magnesium because it is the mightiest mineral in my view. Next, omega-3s, so critical, so crucial. EPA, DHA, so important. They actually downregulate inflammation through this what's called NF-kappa B inflammation. And it's so important because your immune health is all about inflammation. If your inflammation is going crazy, your immune system is not working properly. And one of the best anti-inflammatories, antioxidants, if you will, is the omega-3 fats, fish oil, if you will. EPA, DHA, so critical, I would say between 2 and 3 grams a day. I have to supplement with this because I'm not eating as much fish as I used to because I got a little bit too much mercury. I was eating those big giant ahi tunas in Hawaii, and it was a little too often. So I don't eat them as much. I try to eat the smaller fish, the sardines. They don't have so much of the mercury, but omega-3s, EPA, DHA, critical, crucial, 2 to 3 grams a day. I take it at night. I take it with my D3K2 because they're all fats, fat soluble. Boom. Excellent. So consider that. The last one I'm going to share is glutathione and NAC, and you can sometimes get them together, but these are the master antioxidants. Literally, there was a study in the British Medical Journal just last year, 2024, which showed the importance of glutathione and N-acetylcysteine, or NAC, as master antioxidants. And they supported not only respiratory resilience, against the common cold, the SARS-CoV-2, whatever it is out there, flu, but also immune resilience in general. And it was really a cool article. BMJ, one of my favorite medical journals, showed the power of glutathione and NAC, N-acetylcysteine, one of the most potent antioxidants out there. This is a great combo. So when your mitochondria is strong, and it can be strong through these nutritive supplements and through diet, of course, but we talked about D3K2, vitamin C, zinc, magnesium, the omega-3s, glutathione, so critical, so crucial. As you power up your mitochondria, your immune cells get powered up too because they literally share this same machinery. So don't forget to do the micronutrients. Briefly, I'll share about Sarah. 50 years young, she was getting, interesting enough, recurrent shingles. It's kind of like that chickenpox thing that just goes in one dermatome. So you might get it on your shoulder or your low back or across your belly, usually just one side of the body. I've had this before when I was not focusing on these same micronutrients, the D3K2, the C, the liposomal, zinc, magnesium, omegas, and acetylcysteine, glutathione. When I wasn't focusing on that, I actually got shingles. Like me, that I'm like pretty darn healthy dude, and I got it myself. Well, she was getting it as well. And what we found, not surprisingly, was her vitamin D was low. It was only 24. Remember, we wanted to shoot for 50 to 70, 50 to 90. So we got her on vitamin D replacement. We had her on, I think, 7,500 a day for a while, then decreased to 5,000 a day. That's international units. And we got it up to 65 from 24 in just 3 months' time. We repleted her zinc. She was taking zinc daily. We got her omega 3s going, which was, we did, I think, for her, 2.5 grams of EPA and DHA. And in the next year, she literally had no shingles versus a couple times the prior year. She didn't have much of the common cold. In fact, she did get it once, but she improved rapidly. And overall, she had way more energy. This was the thing she came to me, besides not getting sick, she's like, I feel so much better, so much more energy. I'm in my 50s now, like you, and I feel freaking great. Like I get up in the morning, I'm supercharged, I feel great. And so don't forget the power of these micronutrients. D3K2, vitamin C, zinc, magnesium, omega 3s, glutathione, N-acetylcysteine. It matters because immunity itself is not just about these external pathogens, the viruses, the bacteria, whatever. It's about having the fuel to power and boost the mitochondria so that you can fight off these pathogens and keep your immune cells regulated and keep them ready and recovered for any immune challenge, whether it be internal or external. And these micronutrients are critical. All right, we're about to round this off. So finally, we're going to talk about how we can move in to the light. Yes, natural light, sunlight, like in the morning we talked about. We'll also talk about red light. We'll talk about hormetic stress. Moving into the light is critical. And you've heard this, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Well, in small doses like sauna, cold plunge, the red light therapy, all these things are super critical, cool, and crucial. But I would say the lowest hanging fruit is just get out in natural sunlight each and every day, because not only it resets your biologic clock, if you can do it in the morning, fantastic. It also boosts nitric oxide. Obviously, if you're getting your skin exposed to natural light, you can boost your vitamin D. Serotonin levels also go up. If you do have a cold plunge available, briefly, I would say 3 minutes or so. I wouldn't go crazy, but about 3 minutes, 50 degrees, 55 degrees, this can upregulate your brown fat. Also upregulates immune signaling. But if you overdo it, especially for women or for those under chronic stress, it can actually not be that awesome. So that's the caveat of cold plunging. Don't do it too long. I would say 3 minutes is great. Don't try to overdo it. If you can get some red light, that's been shown to boost immune cytokines, mitochondrial activity. That was in the frontiers of immunology, but also sauna. Sauna is pretty readily available. That's kind of my favorite because it's got so many benefits and literally it feels awesome. Cold plunge, I'll be honest, feels awesome when you're done. When you first get in, not so awesome, but it has great benefits as well. And I do it any chance I can get it available. So remember, the goal here is not to add more stress. It's the right dose, the so-called hormetic, the powerful, useful, helpful stress, hormetic stress, and the right doses to activate the repair pathways through sunlight, through cold exposure, through warm, the sauna. You can do red light therapy, near infrared. These are all helpful and powerful, and they can boost and supercharge your immune system. I'll just share with you one client that I had. His name was David. Well, actually, it wasn't David, but we'll just call him David. He was 48. He was a high performing exec. He wasn't getting out much. He would frequently get whatever virus was running around the office. He wasn't getting outside. He wasn't getting early morning light. He wasn't getting any vitamin D from the sun. Like we changed that. We got him out every single day in the morning, 5 to 10 minutes. We did a brief, we just did it twice a week, and we just used his own shower. We did a little bit of a cold shower, just a 1 to 2 minute. He started at 1 minute, went to 2 minutes. He just did it twice a week. Did some red light therapy. Also did sauna. He had a gym that he could go to, so he was doing sauna 3 to 5 days a week. And literally in over 6 months' time, he didn't get a single cold, which was unusual. He was getting several per year. And he reported that he just felt better. He felt more awake, more alert, not so foggy. His energy was up. And he literally just did these simple things. He got out into the light. He did 2 cold showers a week. He did some red light therapy after workouts. He had this available at his gym. He also did sauna 3 to 5 days a week. It was literally these simple hormetic stresses that helped him supercharge his immune system. And it shouldn't be underestimated. These things can help train your immune system and get you up to where you want to be, which is working together synergistically, doing the things that you want to do and doing so with amazing resilience. So here's the thing. It doesn't have to be hard. Most of the things I shared here are simple, free. We talked about sleep. We talked about how to do it simply, daily, consistently, the same time. Maybe you have a cheap set of earplugs and an eye mask. So simple, so powerful. We talked about getting off the screens 1 hour before bedtime, the sunset of your screen, super important. We talked about stress, how to do the mindfulness, right? We talked about a little mindfulness snack throughout the day. We talked about getting your cortisol down through good quality sleep and these mindfulness snacks. We talked about your gut, how you can improve your microbiome or your microbiota, because as you diversify that, you will diversify your life and your immune system, and it'll be more resilient, eat more different foods, especially fresh plants, veggies, fruits, all the things. We talked about muscle. We talked about strength. We talked about how that boosts your immune reserve. We talked about blood sugar, how you can stabilize that simply and start the meals with protein and fiber, and a couple of added things, right, that you can do as well, right? Wear a CGM, maybe get some more info. We talked about micronutrients, some of my favorite. We talked about magnesium. We talked about zinc. We talked about vitamin C, liposomal, omega 3s. We talked about or environmental hormesis, one of my favorites, the cold, the hot, the red light, and movement. So all these things can not only boost your immune system, but I would say your quality of life. Remember, it's a symphony. It's not simply balancing, it's getting all these things working together, fine tuning them. So simple, so available. There's 7 free levers right here, right now that you can add to your regime. Just try one at a time and don't overcomplicate things, because here's my challenge. This week, just pick one thing to work on, whether it be sleep, whether it be stress optimization, healing your gut, building your muscle, stabilizing blood sugar, repleting your micronutrients, or using some of these environmental hormesis. Just pick one thing, and each and every week over the next 7 weeks, you can pick another. And literally within 7 weeks or 2 months, your immune system can be supercharged. Because remember, true immunity is not in a pill, it's not in a shot, it's in your daily habits, your choices, it's your belief. Your body knows what to do. Your body is designed to heal. So let it heal, let it grow, let it do the things that it knows how to do. Your body is smart, your body is resilient. And I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful that you're here. Make sure to follow me over there on Instagram, Dr. Thomas Hemingway, Facebook, Thomas Hemingway, MD, my website, thomashemingway.com. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you, to support you. If you need help getting your labs done, whatever it may be, feel free to reach out. I'd love to support you in that. Until next time, a big aloha.